Hey friends, today's episode is going to be a little bit different. What you're about to listen to comes from our Middle Method curriculum, which is a core pillar of our Ready, Set, Grow framework that helps pastors and church leaders navigate the messy middle. Now, you might be asking yourself, what do you mean by the messy middle? The messy middle is that frustrating space between casting a vision and then actually seeing it happen. Because here's the truth, dude. Vision is exciting, but the messy middle, that's where the real work begins. Now, we originally created this training for leaders inside of the Ready, Set, Grow mastermind, but dude, we just love the way that some of these turned out so much that we wanted to share a few of these conversations with you here on the podcast as well. So if you want to go deeper on any of this stuff, you can find the link to our mastermind in the description below. But for now, let's dive into today's episode.
All right, one-on-one evaluations.
Yep.
So we were just talking about heartbeats.
Yep, which is evaluating on a team level, did we do what we said we were going to do?
Yep.
And now we're going to break it down to the individual level.
Yeah, so just the comparison there, as you'll see on the screen, heartbeats reflect the team, okay? And then how do we do team performance? One-on-one evaluations, that reflects the individual.
Yep.
And how did you do as an individual, your performance? And it's heartbeats, hey, this is what we did together, one-on-one, what did you accomplish in this cycle? And you're thinking about heartbeats from an organizational confidence standpoint, whereas the one-on-one, that's doing a few things. One, it's going to build personal clarity.
Yeah.
Okay, I know what I'm on the hook for here. Growth, and then ownership. This is my zone. So you're really essentially with that one-on-one evaluation, you're answering the question that everybody has.
Yes.
Do they think I'm doing a good job?
Yeah, 100%. And in traditional evaluations that happen on an annual basis is very different from the middle method version of what we're doing here. And I think there's a couple of big reasons why. So traditionally, most churches only evaluate their staff when something's wrong. So you do that when it trains people to dread that meeting and they fear the feedback. Right? Hey, I need to have a one-on-one with you. It's like, oh
great.
crap, I'm going to the principal's office.
Yep.
Right? In the middle method, evaluations are normal. They're rhythmic. They're expected, right? So traditionally, people only come in to get evaluated when something breaks. And you're going to the principal's office, never for a good reason.
Yeah.
Right? And in the middle method, we do it every single cool down.
They know it's coming.
Traditionally, it's to do damage control. That's why you do it. In the middle method, you do it for development of the person. Traditionally, it's fear-driven. Middle method, it's rhythm-driven. Traditionally, you have the basically, hey, we need to talk. In the middle method, it's, hey, let's celebrate all the great things that you did.
I'm
and
just
let's
laughing,
grow.
even the way you phrase that. Think about how you would feel if someone says, hey, we need to talk, as compared to, hey, let's celebrate and grow.
Yes.
Like just
It's very
emotionally, I'm
different.
feeling totally different on that.
Because it trains fear versus training growth mindset.
Because the thing is if you already have your 365, so that's what we're going to evaluate on. If they already know what it is, then they already know what we're talking about when you get in the room. There's no surprise of, oh, God, I wonder what they want to talk about.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I know what they want to talk about. We do it every time. It's a rhythm. And it's not just about the 365, just that. It's about the 5 questions we do every time.
So you're saying
they
when we
already
get in the
know.
room, when we're doing this one-on-one evaluation, every cool down, there's 5 questions that we want to answer.
Yeah, every single time somebody's coming in to say I'm the lead pastor,
Yep.
they're coming in to meet with me, or if it's the executive pastor, they're coming to meet with you. Everybody already knows the 5 questions. In fact, they've come in and they've answered the 5 questions themselves. And then if I'm the one meeting with them, I've answered the 5 questions of what I think about them. So let's go through them real quick. Number 1 is, how are you really? This is talking about the person. I think this is important because what's sad is how sometimes people can look at people on their staff as machinery to accomplish the vision instead of the vision itself. That the person is important. I care more about you than I do just about what you do.
Yeah.
And so the first question is, how are you? For real, like for real, how
What's
are
going
you?
on
And I
with
want to
you?
hear,
Yeah.
is everything going on in your family, your
Yep.
life, not just the job, you.
Yep.
And so they're going to tell me that. Secondly, is they're going to tell me how do they think they're doing in their work. This is their self evaluation. It's how they view how they're doing. Sometimes, you know, what's funny is they'll come in and they'll say they're not doing as good, you know, as they wish they could. And I'll go, I think you're doing great. Other times they'll come in and go like, dude, I think I'm doing really good. And I'll go, there's some areas I'd like to talk about.
Yeah, what's interesting about it is some of the best performers are the harshest critics of themselves.
Sure.
And they need me to do number 3. Here's how I think you're doing. You just tell me how you think you're doing. Let me tell you how I think you're doing so that we can talk about those things. Very important on that. And then the fourth question that they've come in to talk about, and I've come in to talk about, is what should change for the next cycle. That's not just me telling them what needs to change. They're telling me what they think they need to do.
Sure.
And
That's
this
very
is
important.
really in somewhere between the 3, 6, and the 5. So here's what changes we should make to my 3 goals. Are there any adjustments to the 6 responsibilities? Or are there any characteristics of the 5 staff values that are not happening right now that need to get corrected?
Yeah, a lot of times I don't know that people, and if they did, that's pretty self-aware. If somebody came in and say, hey, listen, I know I need to stop gossiping. Or, hey, listen, I know I need to work on my attitude. Okay, great. Most of the time, that's going to be stuff I'm saying to them, hey, we need to grow in this area, whatever.
Yeah.
Either way, we're talking about now as we step into this next cycle, what needs to be adjusted.
And we're making an assumption because the 365 is not static, like the previous job description example we've said. And because it's not static, we're making an assumption. Something needs to change between the 365 of last cycle and the 365 of this cycle.
And I was just using the example as the 5. That's probably not even the biggest thing that we're talking about, as much as I know in this next cycle, here are the areas of responsibility I have, like if they're coming in and telling me, and I think they're the same, or I think on this one, probably in this next cycle, it needs to shift to this. That's my thought. What do you think, Pastor? To be like that, they would say. Or on the goals, I want to hear what they think are the 3 biggest things that need to be done this next cycle.
Yep.
And what I'll do is I'll say, here are the 3 I have. I'd like you to take number 2 and not do it. That's not even what I want you to do. Podcast, you keep bringing that up. I don't want you to do a podcast, like this. I want you to have this as number 1, 2, and 3, and we agree on it. And then the 5th question is always, what kind of support do you need?
Yeah.
How can I help you win? What do you need from me to help you?
So let's talk about, I want to show you something right here for anybody that's watching on this visual, is the preparation for this meeting. So I'm going to go with the person that's getting evaluated. Okay. The person that's getting evaluated, that's in green. Okay. So they're going to come in with number 1 answered. How are you really? They're going to come written up. How do you think you're doing with your work? They're going to come in what they think should change for the next cycle. Yeah. And they're going to come in with what can I do to help you win? Now, the leader, the person that's giving the evaluation, they're going to come in filling out number 3. Here's how I think you're doing. And then I might have suggestions. So we'll both come in writing number 4, what should change for next cycle? I have opinions and you might have opinions. And then we're going to collaborate together on what should change together. Exactly. But obviously you're the leader, so you have the final say inside of that.
That's it.
Love it.
So let's talk about 365, because 365, the job description that fits on an index card, there's the 3, the 6, and the 5. That is really, really hit on number 2 and number 3. So let me show you what I mean here. How do you think you're doing with your work? And here's how I think you're doing. So let's just say our friend Steve Smith here, the wide receiver for the Carolina Panthers.
You said that because you were about to say the P word, Pittsburgh Steelers, and you stopped mid-sentence. That's why you're laughing right now.
So Steve Smith over here, he now works at our church, and he has a 365, right? So we're going to look at his thing, and he's going to come in and with his opinion of, here's how I think I did on my 365 for the past cycle. I did greens on this responsibility, and I did yellow on this goal, and then on the responsibilities over here, I did number 1, 2, 5, and 6. I did greens, and 3 and 4, I think I did kind of like a yellow. I could have done some more, right? And then I'm going to come in as a leader doing the wide receiver, Steve Smith, over here, and I'm going to come in with my perspective on his performance.
Very little of this is left to chance and left to surprise. It's when I come into my 365, when I come in and I'm sharing my 365 with you guys, I pretty much 99% of the time know where I'm at and
Yes.
where you think I'm at.
Yep.
Because we didn't begin this and then now this is the only time we've met on this. We've been doing cycle rocks, we've been doing updates, we've been doing evaluations and reporting all along the way.
Yep.
So it's not like all of a sudden we're so surprised about this.
Plus, before the evaluation, we had the heartbeat. So I knew whether or not the final standing of how the things that you were responsible for this past cycle went. So it's going to be pretty obvious that we're going to talk about number 4.
I also hope that everybody is putting this all together, that you got the weekly 3 and the daily 3 that is telling you in the Cycle Rock dashboard, you've got all that. But it also can be that you can go back and do coaching and say, hey, let's look back at your weekly 3 and your daily 3 on why this is a red. Like what, I don't know that we kept that where it needed to be, you know?
Yep.
So inside of this, again, like we talked about in the weekly 3 and daily 3, you don't have to be surprised at the end. So you have the weekly 3, daily 3 as being public. Also, if you wanted to, and especially if I had somebody that I'm still developing or there's not a lot of trust there because we haven't worked together very long, I'm going to have weekly one-on-ones with them where I'm going to talk about their weekly 3 and daily 3 from the past week. So nothing should be a surprise by the time you get to this meeting. And they shouldn't be shocked that number 4 is a red, because that's very clear through the heartbeats and all the stuff we just talked about that was underperforming. Okay. So in this, we have your perspective, which is you getting evaluated, you're coming in, and there's my perspective. And there's a kind of choreography that goes to this of who talks first. Can you talk about that, Mark?
Yeah, I think the idea here is that if you speak first as the leader, then it becomes more of a verdict.
Here's what's true.
Yeah, here's what's true. You're not really allowing for yourself to learn anything new.
Yep.
And then I think thirdly, you're doing the work. I always want people to do the heavy lifting first, and then I'm going to come in and provide perspective based on what they're seeing, what they have said, and then how they perform. So if they speak first, number one, it becomes more of a conversation.
Yeah.
They're
Because now
teeing
you
it
know
up.
where they're saying what happened.
Exactly.
And yeah. It's
And
like,
I always did this. I
So
still
good.
do this with you guys. I send in, before we have our meeting, I'm sending you what I think my 365 looks like and all the information, because I also want to make it easy on you as my leader to just edit or talk around the things that you think stand out and not have to do
So a lot
every
of the
piece of it.
A lot of the preparation that happens is I always want the person I'm evaluating to send in their 5 questions, the ones we talked about, 24 hours before the thing, right? The most amount of prep work that I have to do is things that you think are green that I think are red, and I'm going to be like, this is going to be a lot harder than I thought it was going to be, because you are just not seeing this.
Yeah. But it becomes a conversation.
Yeah,
if we
but
tee it
let's
up like
talk
this.
about this. Sometimes I've come into these things and I think something's red and it shifts to a yellow after I've heard them talk about it.
Yep.
Like I'm going,
More information. It's a conversation.
I forgot about that. Or,
Yep.
hey, wow, that gives me... I'm not as much of like, you messed this up, as much as there were things that came in that complicated this. And it's more a yellow than it is a red.
Yep.
If I start out, it's red, and then I go, oh, okay, my bad. It saves me from being a person who is having to backtrack.
So what happens on the conversation instead of a verdict too, Dad, is if there were things I didn't know about and you didn't tell me because, hey, I don't want you to have to worry about me. It's like, okay, now we're even talking about, here's the type of information I do want to know, because I'm mad during the thing that you're not doing the work. And I'm like, what is happening? Why are they not doing this? When you're trying to protect me from information that's complicating things, that's a great conversation that we're trying to have.
It's a great place for discipleship.
And you're learning what they see, which is next.
That's the key. So it's a conversation now. I'm being able to learn what they're seeing and what they're experiencing. So it's exposing the gaps between my thinking and their thinking. And then they get to do the front end work, and I get to save my voice and my mind and my heart to edit or respond to them. And it's just a great place for discipleship to take place.
If you have a 45-minute evaluation or an hour, 30 minutes, I'd want them to be talking maybe 70%.
Yeah, and here's what happens. Regardless of the time that's given to it, when I present to you guys what my 365 is, it fast tracks that meeting. It becomes very clear what we need to talk about and what we don't need to talk about.
Yep.
Oh, you're green. Okay, let's talk about this. Mark, you said you were yellow. I thought you were a green. Talk to me why you think you're a yellow on this.
Yep.
And it just fast tracks it. It makes it very, very meaningful, and it helps you to know how to pray.
Yep. And I think this one-on-one evaluation is exactly what you're doing here as we're doing in the heartbeats, is you're building confidence in the individual, not just the team. Hey, youth department, y'all crushed it. I'm saying, Mark, you crushed it. You're amazing. The 365 and the individual one-on-one evaluation, and then I'd love to hear your final thoughts on it, is it's a way for me to do leadership development on an individual level, not just critique them on all the things and flaws that I see of what's happening in their performance. It becomes a leadership development tool to where I am seeing where they're at, and I'm going to where they're at and helping them to see what I see.
Exactly. It's also where your performance improvement plans come into play if they're not hitting it.
Yep.
So one of the things on this is, I have heard so many times from people of saying stuff like this: my pastor let me go, or this church let me go. I don't even know what I did wrong. They never even told me. Why didn't you tell me you didn't like this or you didn't like that? You're just letting me go. Or, and that could be true, there have been people who actually, I've given them 365 and I've given them reds and said, hey, you're on probation this next cycle. Like, we're going to meet and I want to help you get improved so you can get to where we're at a green.
Yeah.
And they hit red again and they're going like, I don't even know what you're talking about. Okay. You do know. Let's go back. This has been 6 months now. We've been having dashboard discussions. We've been having
just truly, there's no surprises.
Yeah.
We're taking the surprise element out of evaluations.
And these 5 questions are actually turned in whether it's digital or it's actual printed paper. It is a paper trail.
Yes.
That leads to the natural repercussions of if something needs to go south.
So guess who this is going to? Before I let them go, I've already told the board. I've already showed them the documentation. Here's what we've said. Yep. Here's the deal. So they're not like going like, man, we should give this guy another chance.
I think in a lot of ways, Pastor, it helps us because we're so heart connected with the people on our teams. What it does is it informs us in being better pastors and helps us prove to ourselves that we've actually done the work to pastor a person well. And if it's not going well, there's no surprise about the journey that we've been on.
Yeah. And I think this is such a great recurring rhythm for if things go south, but the opposite is also true.
Yes.
Your star players want to know if you're seeing the contribution that they're making. Yeah. And it's a great way to validate the hard work that they're doing and recognize the contributions that they're contributing to the organization. So the one-on-one evaluation is such a critical individual leadership development tool that should not be feared. It's a time to grow, and it's a time to celebrate the work that the individuals on your team are making.